to not think everybody's trying to hate on your gift.
Yes.
And stop your ministry. You 22. Hush.
Or 32.
You're 32. Hush.
You have so much time.
He trying to block my blessing. He's just intimidated of my anointing. Ain't nobody intimidated you.
We don't know you.
No one knows you.
We don't know you.
You have 1,100 followers on YouTube. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And 38 people said you're the best singer of this generation. They were born 14 years ago.
Yeah.
The heck do they know?
You related to half of them. Relax.
Calm down. This is how people get embarrassed on American Idol in the first 2 weeks.
Yes.
My auntie told me I was the best.
Yeah.
And then Simon Cowell has to say, go get a job.
Don't do that.
Because I'm never signing you, right?
Hey everybody, this is Hector Guerrero, producer of The Basement, and I'm sure you have realized all of The Basement episodes are back on YouTube. Listen, we want to help as many people as we possibly can, so we want to ensure that this content that is helpful and pushing people to walk in a lifestyle of vulnerability, of safety, and of growth is not fully stuck behind a paywall. We want to make sure that you get access to that because that's the community that we're growing. But yes, the B-Side app is still alive and as well, baby. Go download and subscribe today. You're always going to be the first people to ever get the episodes. It's going to be ad-free. You ain't got to deal with all the ads you get on these other platforms. You get to have it safely in your hand, on your phone. We got family plans so that your whole family can get the B-Side app. And most importantly, the app's about community. We're building a strong community that wants to grow, that wants to walk in a lifestyle of vulnerability, that wants to help other people by getting help first. So go download, subscribe today. You guys get all the perks. You get to know first about our events, our future merch that we got in the works for the future. And you don't got to deal with all the ads and you get to be within our community. So we love you guys. Toren and Tim go crazy on this episode. Please enjoy it and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Please don't push me.
Please don't push me, but y'all push B. Now we got dwellers from Cali to Flatbush B. Now they got heat on their feet that say press B. And now we so deep in the street, y'all can't stress me. Can't curse me, then bless me. I'm crucifying my flesh, that's less me. SAT from preaching, can't test me. Atheists are now believing, that bless me. Yeah, we got the basement replacing any of those worldly pursuits that y'all chasing, any of those trials and tests that y'all facing, any of the relationships that y'all changing. We rearranging, making the shame shift, giving Satan back what's his, that's the blame shift. Rise up and walk commands, that's the lame shift. Cheat codes for living this life, that's the game shift. All on Yeshua, man, the rest is manure, man. I'm dying daily, so I rise up a purer man. Pressing B daily, so my sins looking fewer, man. Washing the blood, so my sins down the sewer, man. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be.
Welcome to The Basement, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Tim Ross. I am so grateful that y'all are here. And welcome to the B-Side, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so grateful that you all have downloaded this app, that you support this content, and it has just been a blessing to have the start that we've had with this app. And so I appreciate you all that have pressed B. Not just for the basement, but for the B-Side as well. Thank you so much for your support. I still thank all of you all that support us on Cash App and through PayPal. You guys are generous, and you just allow us to do things for the kingdom that we would not be able to do without you. So thank you so much. I'm so excited for my guest. Woo! Oh my gosh, I'm so hyped. All right, so all right, let me tell you. I indeed feel like me and this young man are on the same thinking wavelength. For sure, a brother from another mother. And let me tell you why I know it's a brother from another mother. I know for sure that it's my brother from another mother because when I asked him how would he like to be introduced, he literally almost verbatim gave the answer that I give everybody, which is like, yeah, I just say where I'm from and my name, and that's fine. But he gave an interesting reason as to why. And so I'm going to introduce him to you the way that he would like to be introduced. From Austin, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and introduce to others, artist, church planner. Toren Wells is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go! Yes!
That's a high note.
Hey, I got range.
You do.
I got range.
You do.
I can't do nothing with it in the range. Like
Yeah.
my falsetto is actually stronger than my natural voice.
Okay.
I have much more control over my falsetto than I do my natural voice. But yeah, it can go up there
Yeah, it sounded great.
and come back down.
We need to put it on the record. I know you're putting out music videos.
I
Come on. That intro?
rapping.
Let's
Yes.
go. Bars.
Hey, bro, I'm
so fire.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No, it means a lot that you would come, bro. It really does.
It means more that you would have me.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
grateful, for real.
Thank you, bro.
I love what you're doing. We were talking about this off camera, but you just have the unique anointing to pull what is authentic about people to the surface. And being able to see it in your life and then repeat it, it's been inspiring. And a lot of the content has helped me. So just,
Thank you, man.
Just grateful for you.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
so
man.
much. I appreciate that. All right, so I just want to start with the reason why when I asked, how would you like to be introduced? You said something to me that just was very intriguing to me. Would you just repeat what you said?
Well, I think I said something like it just creates a barrier
Yeah.
just to set up all the things. And not even talking about accolades and all of that, but it creates a barrier for me. Because if we start talking about all of the things that God has just supernaturally blessed me to be able to do or be a part of, I'll enter the space trying to live up to whatever all that means. And it was really important for me to sit down with you and not be all that,
Yeah.
but to just be me. And I think it'll help a lot more people. I think that whenever I find out what someone does, it kind of shifts how I approach them and how I talk to them and how I hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, went through a lot of counseling
Yep.
to get through all of that, to get to the main thing,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
which is just child of God. So,
Yeah.
I just going out on stage, anything like that, I'm like, you can just say my name.
Yep. Yeah.
If they don't know me, they about to.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So,
Dude, I love that thought. I've never considered it with that much thoughtfulness, because I don't like when people read my bio either. But I never. My takeaway from what you're saying is, I don't want to have to compete with myself.
Yeah.
In this moment.
right. Exactly.
And if you read all of this,
Mm-hmm.
I somehow, either consciously or subconsciously, might feel obligated to try to live up to that
Right.
for the sake of everyone that just heard this.
Exactly.
That's
And
interesting.
and if what I am contributing to the conversation is valuable, it will have value in its own merit, not on who said it.
Yeah, it's good.
So, yeah, man.
That's dope. I love it. All right, so being that this is your first time here,
Yes, sir.
I would love for you to just share with me and us the Toren before the Toren that people know.
Little Ren Wells.
Little Ren Wells.
Little Ren.
Okay, let's go, Little Ren.
My grandmother called me Tori. My dad called me Ren until and my mom called me Ren too. She mostly called me Toren, but I had this like definitive moment as a 14-year-old that I wanted to be called Toren. But up until that point, everybody in my life, school, church, all that, just Ren.
Wow.
And grew up. My parents separated when I was 3 or 4 years old, and we moved in and out of living together, and me and my mom moving out, moving in with my dad, moving out. And just an interesting kind of upbringing in that way. We went to church at times randomly without any real connection between it. But one Saturday, my dad came home and said, "We're going to church tomorrow." And I was like, "We're going to church?"
Yeah.
Like us?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know much, but I knew we didn't go to church.
Right, exactly. Right.
And we had evidence.
Yeah.
And so he was walking out his own spiritual journey and trying to figure some stuff out. And he lost would have been my older half brother when he was a baby.
Oh, wow.
With his first wife. His son died in a car accident. His dad died of a heart attack. His older sister died of cancer, all in 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And it just sent his whole life spiraling. And so my mom was dealing with the residue of all of that and not being able to really deal with it. And when he finally got serious about his faith, he was dating who is now my stepmom. We don't use that language.
Understood.
She's my mom. But we went to church that Sunday morning, and it was about 50 people in a little Pentecostal church. Green carpet, green pews, wood panel walls.
Wow.
Old head preaching.
Yeah.
All white church. We were the only people of color there.
Wow.
And never bothered my dad, didn't bother me. And we just assimilated into this community.
Wow.
And a Pentecostal community, and just got to watch my dad change.
Wow.
Like, well, maybe we'll get into more of this later, but just the radical changes that took place in his life. It was supernatural. And then I found my place in it all as well.
Yeah.
Went to church camp that year, was filled with the Spirit, got my first choir solo.
Yeah.
And it was this point where I felt my soul aligned with the gift in service of the giver for the ministry of the church. And I fell in love with that reality. And I've been living toward just repeating that throughout my life at this point. Now married 12 years.
Let's go.
To Lorna. We got 4 little boys. Canaan, Lawson, Navy, and Banner. And
Canaan.
Yeah. Lawson. Navy. Banner.
Those are some dope names.
We labored over them. For sure. We labored over them.
I love these names.
Yeah.
What are their ages?
10, 7, 5, and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in the thick of it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'll be praying for sleep.
Yes. Yes. And be praying for my wife.
Yes, sir.
She holds it down.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful. I'm still, I see everything in pictures, and I'm still looking at your dad.
Yeah, I gotta tell you about this dude.
Yeah, bro.
Because the older I get, the more I appreciate who he is.
Yeah.
Because I'm him.
Yeah.
So I better learn to appreciate him.
Right, for sure.
But he was raised by a military dad, fought in the war.
Wow.
Came back, worked at Post Cereals in Battle Creek, Michigan, which was my hometown. Married to my grandmother, who was a registered nurse. but didn't really have a faith life. Like there's conversations about him being a Mason and some of these other things. So a very interesting, veiled existence. He died before I was born. So I never got to meet him. And that really fractured our family. So there's not, my kids love the show Family Reunion. And they want a family reunion so bad. I'm like, first of all, if we have one, those people you see on TV are not going to be there. So
It's going to be different.
Yeah, we don't got no barbecue, ain't got no dancing. We ain't, it's us. That's why there's 4 of y'all.
Right, exactly.
We going to recreate this.
We had to repopulate.
Yes.
We are Noah and the wife. It's hilarious.
So we, that he was raised kind of in that very strict environment, but with no real spiritual foundation.
Got you.
So he grew up musician, played in bands and all that kind of stuff. And then, went through those really rough years as a young adult, losing so many people. And, but my dad was multiple earrings, slick back, ponytail, like had the relaxer in his hair so he could get there. Just
people don't know that struggle.
No.
Yeah.
He beard, the Fila combat boots with the chains on them, Harley Davidson. I am not a reflection of his size.
Right. Yeah.
Big guy, but just I think through all that pain, we know depression, inward.
Yep.
It's anger.
Yeah, for sure.
So there was a lot of anger there. And when he gave his life to God, it was like change, bro. And still seeing his humanity,
Yeah.
but that heart to just go after God and do some of the work and let his life be changed, love people within the church context.
Yep.
We had older gentlemen in the church that would later say, my dad was the first black man they ever embraced.
Wow.
Just taught me so much about being a part of other cultures and loving people. And amazing, man. Just an amazing guy. And I always thank him so much for that pivotal moment of making a decision for our family.
Yeah, bro.
To follow Jesus.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I've been able to do so many amazing things, but it all points back to one choice on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I only have a glimpse of what he had to fight through to get to come home and be like, we're going to church tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Like literally as the first round, as you were talking about him, the only thing I kept thinking to myself, Toren, is this dude is brave.
Yeah.
Like the bravery it takes to step back into a mess you made. And being like, hey, I know I probably hurt y'all.
Yeah.
But now I think God's going to use me to heal y'all too.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Like, obviously he wasn't thinking all of this, right? In the moment. But, dude, it takes bravery to step. Most people would be like, I'm just going to start fresh with, like, a new family or a new person. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of jacked that one up.
Yeah.
Man, it takes bravery to come back into a space where you've probably contributed to the hurt and the pain and being like, are we about to do something different?
Right.
And I want to lead you. I want to lead you in that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Only the grace of God.
Yeah, bro. It's brave. And then to step into a all-white church.
All-white church.
That's brave as well.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
It was the downward inflection.
It's different. It's because we were so loved and still probably misunderstood. I mean, I just had this conversation with my dad the other day because we were talking about, him being a musician and stuff. And one of the things the pastor said, who would not marry him and my stepmom
Wow.
was, don't bring your boogie woogie keyboards into my church.
Boogie woog. Can we just slow down real quick? I had no idea the words boogie woogie
Yeah. that's
would
the whole
minister
thing.
to me the way they just did.
Don't bring that boogie woogie in here.
Boogie woog. And the fact that he actually thinks boogie woogie, which is a sound, is actually the keyboard. Like, hey, what kind of sounds come out of your keyboard?
yeah.
Boogie
Boogie
woogie sounds.
Yeah.
Like, that is hilarious to
Yeah,
me.
bro.
Don't bring your boogie woogie keyboards.
Yeah.
Wow.
In here. And just over time, through kindness, my dad broke those people down. There is no one more beloved
Wow.
than Phil Wells
Wow.
because he was relentlessly kind. And we know all the little things,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
little
for sure.
jabs, the little
Yeah.
number one, just being in church.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna be offended. It doesn't matter who you are, skin tone, hair.
Yep.
But you add that layer on it and you're just constantly poked at.
Yep.
And you bigger than everybody and used to beating people up.
Oh my God.
And you just choose love. He brought that pastor a black sheep. And he said, I'll be your black sheep. Bought him a tie. All the white sheep, black sheep on it. Gave it to him. That pastor ended up going to other churches and preaching about the black sheep that changed his life. Because he was brave enough to stay and love people.
That misunderstood him.
Crazy.
Dang, bro. Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
my. There's like 52 directions I want to run in off that.
I got my running shoes on.
Hey, you
We can
do.
go anywhere we want to go.
Listen.
Let's
Oh
go.
my gosh. The bravery to stay where you're misunderstood.
I mean, that is, we can take our time. But
Clearly.
that is what Jesus did.
Mm.
And it's so crazy to me how often we feel entitled to run to spaces where everyone not only understands us, but coddles us
Yep. Absolutely.
in whatever we want to be coddled in.
Yep.
Jesus came to his own, and his own received him not.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
So rejection is a part of what the mechanism that God uses to shape us into the character of Christ.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
So we run from it
Yep.
to be celebrated.
Yep.
And that example would prove to be paramount,
Mm.
in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Well, that's a you just segued yourself.
Yeah.
How was that paramount for you?
Well, there's so many iterations of it.
Yeah.
I just wrote this down in my journal maybe 2 or 3 days ago. I went to an event, and it was a gospel honors event, and you have all of these amazing gospel singers. It'll be out soon.
Okay.
Everybody will know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But I came back with a different perspective, because sometimes when I'm in a room that's all any one thing, I'm uncomfortable.
Me too.
Bro,
That's me too.
I don't want to be in a room that's all white,
Me either.
and I don't want to be in a room that's all black.
Me either. Bro, I'm from Southern Cal.
Yeah.
I moved to Texas, and obviously I had never been around anything remotely close to segregation.
Yeah.
And I moved to Texas, bro, and like all the black people lived off 20, and all the white people lived north of 635 when I got here in 97.
Right.
And then like all the Mexicans were off 30, Interstate 30 somewhere. And then like all the Asians were wherever everybody else was, just like, we'll do your nails and we'll give you hair and we'll fix your car, right?
Yes.
And so I'm like, where is the community pool? Because this clearly is black only, white only, Hispanic
That's
only,
right.
Asian only.
Yeah, we just
And
took the signs down.
Yeah, it was so weird. But yeah, I've never, like, I need diversity.
Yes.
Like, that's all I grew up with.
Yes.
Is seeing everybody. You know what I
Right.
mean? And you dated who was cute. It was never like, you dating a white girl?
Right.
You dating a black girl? You dating a Filipino?
Yep.
You dating Hispanic? It's like, all of these fish are in this pond.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just throwing my fishing line in.
That's right.
And this cute Filipino one came up. I ain't gonna be a beggar.
I ain't mad at all.
I ain't mad at all. You cute. You know what I mean? You
right.
win.
That's right.
You were here first. You win.
That's right.
So that's very, very interesting.
So I went to this event. Normally I would walk away from something like that and be like, dang, man, why didn't I get all that other stuff? Man, I wanted to do all that.
Wow.
I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
And people were kind, but it wasn't a fit. So I went back and I wrote in my journal the next morning, God, thank you for making me. For putting me together how you wanted me to be put together. My gifts, my skills, my struggles, and allowing me to be who I am and to be in all of these various spaces. Thank you for the people that you put in front of me.
That's awesome.
Because it could easily go the other, like where I wanted, the words I wanted to write down were not those words.
Understood. Yeah, understood. Absolutely.
But it's that time, it's walking into the barbershop and getting passed off by 8 barbers. See, we always hear this narrative from, y'all thought I was going to talk about all the white people rejecting me. No. It's happened. We'll talk about it. But when you live your life under the construct that you are black.
Yes, sir.
And then every black space that you're in, you're rejected first, is more difficult. I expect some level of a layered response from a white community, but I expected to be received.
Yep.
And everyone's like, I don't know what to do with that hair. Not it. That hurts worse.
Yeah, man.
And when you craved it but didn't have it in your family because your family's fractured.
Yep.
So my mom's side of the family is a unit.
Yep.
They move as a unit.
Yep.
And they received me into the unit.
Yep.
My dad's side of the family was so fractured, there was nothing to assimilate to accept my dad, who was an outlier.
Yep.
He didn't fit the stereotype either.
Yep, absolutely.
So I grew up listening to AC/DC and
Right.
Aerosmith and
Right.
ZZ Top and the Isley Brothers and James Brown and Prince
Right.
and Winona Judd and
Yep.
Whitney.
Yep.
It was a amalgamation of different things,
Yep.
not just one thing. And my dad's whole premise was, I'm not fitting into anyone's categories. For me, I am who I am.
Yeah.
He didn't have God language at that point.
Right.
And so, grew up going to private school, Christian school. Me and my friend Brandon were the black kids in the school, and yet half white. We were both mixed. We were best friends. And there were times I get in trouble in school. My dad would go up to the school thinking it's racially motivated, you know? So there was always just that tension
Yeah.
of whatever room we were in. And it came to a head when my wife and I got married. We were engaged and we were sending out our wedding invitations. My wife's dad is a pastor in Houston. Houston, statistically, at this time, it was the most diverse city in America.
Yep.
And so we get engaged. We send out our wedding invitations. We start getting the invitations not sent back to our house, but sent back to the church because they wanted my father-in-law to know they weren't coming to the wedding. So, and the people leading the charge were my father-in-law's parents, sister and brother-in-law, his family. So here is a man on a whole other path that we could go down who has almost single-handedly secured my faith in church and in Christians and in ministry.
Wow.
And ultimately in God. And he's having to have conversations with his family. Like, can't divulge all of it.
Understood.
But just, I remember he and I standing outside of a Mexican restaurant in Houston. And he said with tears in his eyes, "I'm so sorry. There's no other explanation for this than racism." And after we got married, he did our wedding, stood up in the pulpit and said, this was prior to our marriage. He said, "I had someone ask me recently, Pastor, what will we do if there are black people and Mexicans in heaven?" And he said, "If you're asking that question, you don't have to worry about it. You won't be there." So this man took a stand in the pulpit, obviously for his daughter, but for me and for every other person of color that would come into that community. And it broke something in that church. The interesting thing about the church was it was diverse.
Yes, sir. Of course.
We were all in the choir together.
Yep.
We were all serving in ministry together. After we got married, 100 people left. I was getting things sent to my Facebook Messenger. Remember when you used to check that?
Yeah, I remember. Operative word you used to.
Yeah. Like, I'll beat you until you really look like a zebra. Making slurs and actual threats. Like my dad, like, do we need to come down there? Like, do you need people? And
Church people?
Still showing up every Sunday.
Yes, of course. Because you are your daddy's son.
We're going to break them down.
You had already seen this. You had already watched this movie.
Bro.
Lord, have mercy on my whole soul.
So this is the most amazing part. Fast forward now, 12 years we've been married.
Yeah.
My father-in-law took the first step, although it was not his step to take, to put his family back together with his parents and all of that. My brother-in-law said, if there's going to be water under the bridge, somebody has to build a bridge. My father-in-law reached out. No apologies. No, we messed this up. None of that. Let's start from scratch. If you can love this family and love our grandkids, we'll give you another chance. So we show up that first Christmas at Nana and Pawpaw's front door and come in, and I just start Phil Wells, breaking them down. Now at our last family get-together, my wife's Nana talked to me the whole time. Didn't talk to nobody else. It's now a family joke that they don't care about anyone else
In the entire family. I love it.
They care about me.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think I say all of that to encourage people in this, that we all have something about us that makes us feel like we're on the outside at times.
Yeah, for sure.
And instead of using it as an excuse to stay outside, what if you used it as permission
Yeah.
to step into it?
Yeah.
So,
bro, you might have hit the human lottery when it comes to
bro,
dads and father-in-laws. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen, and again, I see everything in pictures, so that's why I'm saying it. I heard you, but I watched it, right? And so I'm watching a coin, and I see your dad on one side, brave enough, black enough to walk into an all-white church and go, I'll stay here until you call boogie woogie.
right. Yeah.
Jesus music.
Right.
Right. I'm going to stay here, right?
Yeah.
You ain't going to run me off.
Yeah.
You flip the coin, your father-in-law, a white man, is looking at his white family and congregation and going, y'all are racist and you could be on your way to hell.
Yeah.
Fam, that's bravery.
Yeah.
That's just... You had no choice.
Bro.
After seeing those two object lessons.
Crazy.
That is wild, man. So from your dad, here's my synthesis. From your dad, it's, I will not allow your misunderstanding of me to make me run away from you. On your father-in-law's side, it's, I will not allow your misunderstanding of them to make me agree with you.
That's nasty.
That's stinky. That's stinky.
Yeah, that's a good synthesis.
Nana sitting up there going,
Like the-
when is Toren getting here? Nana, aren't you happy to see me? Screw you. When's Toren getting here? Yo, that's spectacular. And that's love. And that's forgiveness. We like to, like, when we talk about scenarios like this, we like to throw the words radical in front of it. But what we call radical, God just calls agape.
Yeah.
Not that he would speak Greek, but I don't, you know what I mean? Whether it's Aramaic or Syrian Aramaic or Hebrew or whatever, God would just be like, that's just love.
Baseline.
This is
Baseline. I asked my boys last night before bed, what is the number one commandment? Navy, 5 years old. Love people. He got it at 5.
5, fam.
Try to make it so
good.
complicated.
Right. This is radical love. This is radical obedience. This is extravagant forgiveness. Is it though?
No.
Is it? It's extravagant.
This is the play.
This is the only recourse we have is to pray for those that despitefully use you. It's the only play we saw ran is Jesus forgiving mid-crucifixion.
Yes. Yes.
Not after.
No, the pinnacle of suffering. Father, forgive them.
They don't even know what they're doing. And we swear in certain circumstances that we know the intentions of people's hearts. When the truth of the matter is, the majority of times, I won't say all the time, there's some people with ill will and ill motive and, you know, have nefarious plans. The majority of the time,
No,
they don't even know what they do.
they don't know.
Nana didn't even know what the heck she was doing.
She was in the back of the church saying, Oh, you see, we got Michael Jackson leading worship today.
Don't laugh like Michael Jackson, though.
I mean, Nana, you do have a point. I mean, Nana, if you want Michael. You want? I mean, we can moonwalk real quick.
If you want
Do you
it.
want that?
Do you? It
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
like
you
you
like
want that.
that.
It seems like you, Nana. Just say you like Michael.
Yeah, just say you like him.
Yeah, just say you like him, Nana. You ain't gotta be
front.
petty about it in the back of the church, dude. That's hilarious. Wow, bro.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, and I just want to hold space for you as a biracial man having to navigate that thing that is very unique to biracial people. I have so much empathy in hearing your story because I don't have that nuance to deal with. My mom had that nuance, and she's not even biracial, but she's actually lighter than you. My mom's French vanilla. During the Watts riots in the 60s, she could not go outside while the riots were going on because she passed as white and would have been beat up.
Wow.
So whether you're biracial or you're just light-skinned and could be 100% African-American, but on the lighter pigmentation side, the level of prejudice within the black community
It's crazy.
for biracial people and light-skinned people is just nuts.
Yeah.
And that has to be lonely.
It is. The thing about it is that's why the church was so important to me,
Yeah.
because it gave people a different starting point.
Yep.
Now, obviously, there are people who got it wrong. I never want to judge the minority who got it wrong by the majority who are trying to get it right.
Understood, for sure.
So I stay focused on that. But God put the right people around me at the right times to where you understand that misunderstanding comes with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was a muscle that I needed to develop for how I would pivot through other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of misunderstanding that comes along with just being a believer, with being a Christian, with
Right.
having callings and dreams that God places in your heart that your parents don't understand and your friends don't understand and your coworkers and your teams. And so that it builds that muscle to just be like, I have to be who I am because I have no other choice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Absolutely.
And then God puts people around it.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, there are about 7, 8 of us.
Yeah, for sure. We can ride.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's interesting because they talked about this on ESPN with Steph.
Really?
Yeah, like an actual open conversation. People don't like putting him higher in the all-time basketball greats rankings because he's light skinned.
I never.
Open dialogue on ESPN about it.
What?
Yeah. And that's the conversation they're having in the barbershop and everywhere else.
That's crazy.
You put a little bit more melanin in there,
and we would venerate him.
he going up.
That's
But there's a
dark.
psychological barrier that's been created. And I don't like pointing everything back to slavery and all that. I understand.
Yeah.
It's so nuanced. But
And
that field,
yes.
house,
Yeah. Oh, that's a real thing.
and people are still putting
Absolutely.
people in those
Absolutely
lanes.
correct. House nigga,
So,
field nigga.
Yeah, you
They're
don't
doing
get
it.
you don't get it.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
So seeing it helps to see other examples and be like, oh, that wasn't just me. You had Charles on.
Yeah.
I'm like, Charles knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. Absolutely correct.
But then to be, assimilated in and celebrated
Yep.
by people who are the body of Christ, who have declared, I'm putting something above my culture. I'm putting something above my skin tone. The gospel is the unifying force. No Jew nor Greek.
That's right.
No Gentile.
That's right.
Male nor female.
Yep.
Like, we are so quick to make the full estimation of who we are on the surface.
And that's just not the case.
It's got to be deeper than that.
When I was the lead pastor of Embassy City, we planted the church in what was and still is it is the top 10 most racially diverse zip codes in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
You could have never paid me to believe anywhere in Texas, especially north. I knew about Houston,
Mm-hmm.
but zip code, no ethnicity over 25%.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
it was just blended, right? It was beautiful. So we planted this diverse church, and I made a statement. And every time I made this statement in our, we called it our Engage class, but it was for people that were considering becoming members. We told them the statement that I made was, if you love your ethnicity more than you love your identity in Christ, you have an idol.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As a black man.
Yes, sir.
Caramel, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 100% black on
Uh-huh,
both sides.
uh-huh.
Nigerian and Ghana.
Uh-huh.
My ancestors coming through, and Cherokee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all minority though.
Yeah.
20% white from the slave slave owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had more black people leave the church than any other ethnicity.
Yeah.
Every time I made that statement.
Yep.
Because it was almost like you sold out by making that statement.
Yeah.
And I didn't disagree with him.
Yeah.
I did sell out.
Yeah. To the gospel.
I sold out to Jesus.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I sold out to Jesus Cristo. I sold
Yeah.
out to Yeshua. I sold out to Isa. Like what language do you want me to put his name in? Like
Yeah.
I sold out when I gave my life up for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So if you love your ethnicity more than you love your identity in Christ, you have an idol. And when I tell you, they didn't do it physically, but in their heart, they like walked out with a black power fist.
Yeah.
They were like, no, you're not. I need you blacker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you think the gospel
Mm-hmm.
calls for?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's 2023, fam. And we talking about prejudice within the black community.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about racism, although we could talk about racism. We ain't talking about any systemic issues. We're just talking about that nuance that still exists,
Mm-hmm.
that's still pervasive, that still you run up against it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't say it with their mouth,
Mm-hmm.
but they show it in their deeds.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate, dude.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because you've literally cut yourself off from the wider body of Christ. I always say that the body of Christ is the greatest fraternity and sorority you could ever be a part of.
Yep.
I can land in a different country and have a brother and sister.
That's right.
Just like that.
Yep. Beautiful.
But sometimes I can't walk into a church in America
Mm-hmm.
and be received the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But I could get dropped off in Malaysia. They're like, Brother
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
we're so happy you're here.
Yeah.
I get dropped off in Singapore.
Yep.
Brother Tim, over here.
Mm-hmm.
Australia, Costa Rica, Turks and Caicos, Nassau, Bahamas.
Now you just going on vacation though. This boy just went from a missionary journey straight to vacation.
Hey, when you have to preach in Nassau, it's like
He said St. Lucia.
yeah. Welcome.
Paris. It's all. We all want to go, Tim.
I do. My wife's Caribbean, so we had to go there. We had to go there. We had to. I am so I'm thinking about how this impacts you as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I don't even know if you've ever segued into your artistry like this.
not like that. No.
But I'm very curious as to Daddy with the biker jacket on,
Mm-hmm.
who's like AC/DC sometimes, and James Brown
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. You know, Whitney and Winona
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mick Jagger.
Right.
And Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
like when you're
Onyx and gospel gangsters. That's when you got saved. When my dad got
Slam!
saved.
Dun, 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 dun. Let the boys be boys. Slam! If you don't know
There's
that
another
song,
one in the gutter, son.
Yes!
See, sometimes you gotta.
yes, bro,
gotta
that
let
was
it
that
go.
aggression.
But I don't like why my dad was letting me digest that.
right.
I went back and listened to that the other day. I can't show that to my kids. I
Nah,
just can't show that to my kids.
that's too much.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. That was, like, I think Onyx was crumping with their voice before crumping came out.
Facts.
That's another one. I'm like, how
Yeah.
many caffeinated drinks
Yeah.
do you have to have in your system to rap like
To
that?
do that.
Because I'm not that angry
Yeah.
about nothing.
It's probably more than caffeine.
Yeah,
Caffeinated drinks. That was nice.
it probably did some lines.
Yeah. A few.
few lines before you walk in there.
Uh-huh.
All right, so all of this is blended up in you. When do you start? When are you singing? When are you just into that creative space where you start finding out this stuff that's on the inside of you?
The interesting thing about the church tradition that I grew up in was that it was predominantly white, but it had an affinity for black gospel music, is what they would call it.
Uh huh.
Everyone else
boogie-woogie.
calls it gospel music.
The boogie woogie.
It's gospel, yes.
But they had to be like, this is them black
Black
people's.
gospel.
This is them black people's music.
Yes.
Got the little boogie woogie.
Uh-huh.
Boogie woogie's gonna be my word for the next 6 months. Easy. I'm gonna be saying it unsolicited. It's
Yeah.
not gonna even fit stuff.
No.
I'm gonna be like, is that boogie woogie
That
water you
boogie
got?
woogie. Uh-huh.
Did you get a boogie woogie burger?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be putting in the sentences it has
Don't
no
even make
business being in. Yeah, absolutely.
Ah, you're goofy. So, you know, we were doing gospel music, choir music, all of that, you know, from James Cleveland to Kurt Carr to
Wow.
like the whole Andre Craft.
Wow.
Like so that pastor retired and a younger pastor's couple came from Louisville, Kentucky. And they were, I think, my age when they came to my hometown, Battle Creek, Michigan.
Yep.
And very musical, very talented, and just loved all the gospel stuff. So immediately we were doing all that. She could sing. The first person I heard sing Alabaster Box was not Cece. It was my pastor's wife.
Wow.
So everything, what is incredible about that is they fully took that on. My pastor loved the black community.
Yep.
There was a segment within the church as the church grew where they wanted him to wear a traditional robe like a black pastor.
Wow.
He was in that joint every Sunday.
Wow.
Just wanting to embrace the people he was called to pastor.
Yeah, that's dope.
So really cool. On the flip side of that, you have the white version of everything black.
You're absolutely right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely
So-
correct. Absolutely.
Although it was love,
Yep.
my understanding of that world did not come through an authentic lens. My dad
It's very
didn't
interesting.
like choir music.
Right.
So
It's very interesting.
when I brought Kirk home,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad being a full bona fide believer, he was like, I don't really like choir music. But he liked Fred. So I started getting into Fred and Kirk, and then Israel came along.
That's the
And I was like,
that's like literally Goldilocks.
bro.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
This one's a little too hot.
Just right.
There's me.
Yeah, you found you. Absolutely correct.
I went to the Bible bookstore.
Can we slow down real quick?
Yeah.
I want you to go to the Bible bookstore.
Yeah.
But in getting to the Bible bookstore, can you talk about the importance of representation?
Yeah.
Like you had to see it.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you.
Uh-huh. Wow. Maybe you should talk about the
But but think about it though.
No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
we don't understand how valuable and necessary
Yes.
representation is.
Yes.
You were inspired by Kirk.
What I loved, I couldn't access until I saw someone that was my shadow.
You needed something
Yes.
someone
Yes.
that looked like you.
Yep.
That was necessary for permission.
Necessary. Yep.
It's inspirational if I see it
Mm-hmm.
in Kirk or I
Yes.
see it in Fred Hammond.
Yep.
But you've lived a different experience.
Yep.
And so until Israel Houghton,
Right.
until Beige,
Right.
right? It
Yeah.
kind of like ambiguous enough to be like,
Yes.
is that
Right.
a Mexican?
Right. Bro. People
says-
just come up
he
to me
says
speaking
te amo.
Spanish.
He says te amo. Is he Mexican?
Boricua.
Yeah, right. Is he Puerto Rican?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo no sé. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no entiendo. That's very important.
It is. Yeah, and I don't think that I actually saw it like that until you just said that. I don't think I made that connection. I think there was an accessibility musically too,
Right.
because
Right.
we were playing, and even with Israel it was still a little bit true, but we were playing versions of these other songs, or we were just straight up using soundtracks.
Yep.
Because there was no way
You had to get stems. Because there's no way
Before
Sheila,
stems.
there's no way Sheila and Jackie
no
were about to hit them chords.
No, and they,
It wasn't happening.
Sister Angie and Sister Julie
They
were
weren't playing-
amazing,
they
and
were-
they built me.
But they were not
But they
playing
did not
diminished.
have. When I first saw people's hands like this, you all see, I was like, oh, that's how you play that chord, not like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that was so funny. I mean, I was 16.
Wow.
So all those developmental years,
Yeah.
where most of our kids learn through exposure and absorption,
Yep. Yeah.
I was absorbing something different.
Yep.
So, Live from Another Level came out when I was 16. I went to the Bible bookstore, got the song book, went to Barnes and Noble, got the chord book.
Wow.
Got my boom box. How's that, millennials? Gen Z, Alpha Gen.
Right.
Got my boom box, put my CD in, and was going through Coming from the Outside. What's a A minor 7?
Wow.
A minor 7.
Wow.
Chord by chord. Because there wasn't that natural cultural context to absorb from in that way. So Aaron Lindsay and Israel Houghton, that was school for me.
Oh, that was an architecture.
Woo.
That was architecture, bro.
Bro. So that's where I started learning to play. And then I found out with those chords, I could put them together in a different order and it'd be mine. And that was cracking the code for me.
Wow.
Because now I didn't have to be Kirk. Didn't have to be Fred. I later learned about Stephen Curtis Chapman. Didn't have to be him.
Yep.
And I started putting my stuff together and started having my youth group sing it with me. And I was writing songs. And
Okay, hold on. Take me slower, bro. All right, most people. And how old are you around this time?
16.
Okay. Holy cow. What kind of freak are you? This is wild. So most people crack the code so that they can do what they do their way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you would have stopped there, that would have already been like a inspirational, like, yeah, like I'm taking this, I'm taking that A7th and I'ma do it E. Right. I'm gonna do it in E because my range is gonna go this way, and so I'm probably gonna go. I want to start here so I can end there, right? It's one thing to crack the code and be like, I'm gonna make this song mine. It's another thing to crack the code and be like, all right, thanks guys. All right, time to write my own.
Yeah.
What? See, I don't like passing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're gifted and you're talented and this is what you do, it sounds like normal. That ain't.
Yeah.
Like most people
well, let me
ain't
add
doing
another
that.
layer.
Yeah.
Because it was hard to learn that alone. But what happened, what had happened was I couldn't learn it fast enough to get it presentable for a Wednesday youth thing.
Okay.
So it forced me to write my own. So I started creating from a deficiency.
The mother of the greatest inventions.
The gifted and all that. That I love those people and I hate them too. But this started for me from, well, what can I use? What can I understand? What can I create? And now my dad had been writing songs in one key his whole life.
Wow.
He had mastered C.
Wow. Him and Madonna.
Yeah. I wanted to learn how to play in different keys.
Yeah.
But I knew I could, the joy that I saw my dad express in one key, doing what he wanted to do, I knew if I can unlock that for me and then bring my friends along, we out of there. So it was from necessity of I can't learn the songs fast enough. I can write my own and no one will know I'm making a mistake.
Wow.
So I started taking piano lab at school.
Yep.
They wanted you to learn these note pieces, but they messed up because they put a 16-track recorder on my keyboard. So all the other kids are learning Mary Had a Little Lamb, and the songs that I only had that piano at home.
Yep.
I took it to school. After school, my piano lab teacher, Seth Gardner, gave me a key so I could go in there. I was recording 16 tracks, drums, keys, synths, all
harmonies.
of that. And then taking them to my youth group. You play this, you play this. I was able to work it out. I wouldn't have known to tell the guitar player, I want to hear this.
Right.
Had I not been able to figure it out alone.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was necessity, it was deficiency, and then ultimately purpose.
All right, so I actually love that as ingredients: necessity, deficiency, purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times we think we need more than we need to get started.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, once I get the funding, once I have the business, once I get the degree, once I get married, once I become a pastor, everybody thinks they need more than they need to actually start. And man, necessity is the mother
of invention,
of innovation. Like there needs to be something not there, or else why am I even making this?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The iPhone got brought to the market. No one was asking for it.
Right. Yeah.
Steve Jobs was creating a phone nobody was asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was either BlackBerry, Nokia, Motorola Razr, T-Mobile Sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Jobs was like, I know nobody wants a piece of glass they can make a phone call and take a picture and listen to music on and download an app, but here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's something to be said for the necessity part.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's invaluable to purpose.
Yeah.
There's got to be a deficiency somewhere, or else why am I even digging like this?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I'm just letting that marinate, bro.
I love it.
I'm letting that marinate because that's very inspiring. All right, so you get you start doing your
My
start
little
doing
song.
music. You start
My
doing
little
your songs.
Yeah,
But those songs turn into something.
they do. Year after year,
Year after
season
year.
after season.
Season after season.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I had to mature.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the skills. Like, this is the problem with people getting all this success and then not knowing what to do with it. 'Cause there was no time. So I had the gift of time.
Mm.
And the pace of the world today, I feel like, is robbing young innovators and creatives of the most important thing they need, not to be successful for a moment, but for a lifetime. And that is time. John Mayer said the worst thing you can do is write a song and go put it on YouTube. He recounts the years of being awkward and 13
Yep.
in his room with his guitar.
Yeah.
And then when you see him, Gabby,
Yeah.
went into the music industry at 13, developed year after year, so that when you see her, all you need to see is a silhouette, because it's developed over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then she puts the world on notice. My boys have been begging to have a YouTube channel. Could they?
Yeah.
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 It would probably be more successful than mine.
Mine too. My boys
What?
blow me away. Yeah.
But I want to give them time.
They need it.
Have to have it.
They have to have it. If you don't get to develop in the dark, the image washes out.
Overexposed.
I'm just glad you said it first. Because do you mind me asking your age?
37.
Okay. I'm 48. I'm glad to have somebody in their 30s saying you need time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember my first sermon. I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no video footage of it.
Yeah.
I know they recorded it on a cassette. Nobody has it but my mom and my daddy.
Yeah.
That's not for... I was in the dark room with the red light on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still... I'm the image of Christ is
Yep.
still forming.
Overexposed and underdeveloped is what we have if you don't have time.
And by their third tour stop, they've already cheated on their spouse.
Right. That part.
By their seventh tour stop, they've already taken nine shots.
Yes. And you've taken all of the gifting and you've built this beautiful thing that's actually a prison. Because you didn't take the time to go get the keys. And the keys are the eternal life. That's I didn't even have that though. Like, I didn't get the keys till I was 30. I had the record deal at 24, married, touring, Grammy, nominations, all that, 25, 26, 27, tours, arenas, all of that. Didn't have the keys. So I had to deal with what didn't develop. which was my character.
Yes, sir.
And as amazing as all the people in my life were, they did not have the awareness,
Mm-hmm.
audacity,
Mm.
sensitivity
Mm.
to say, wow, this seems to be going really well.
Mm.
How are you?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And follow it up with, there is nothing you could tell me right now that would change how I felt about you. I just want to know, how are you doing? Just didn't have it.
Yep.
And maybe people tried.
Yep.
I wasn't ready.
Yep. Understood. That's good. That's good self-awareness.
But I
too.
think if people can give themselves time and get to that character piece, bro, then you can actually enjoy what you get to live in.
Absolutely correct.
Otherwise, it's just prison.
It is, dude. You can't enjoy it.
Can't enjoy it.
Oh my gosh. Bro, you have no idea how refreshing it is to hear you say that. Like, that is like, that blesses my life. Because that's literally my secret sauce to success. Is that at every age and stage, the Lord was kind enough to go, I'm not turning the lights on in this room yet.
Right. Yep.
Don't even ask me to open that door.
Oh, you're begging for the door to be opened. What are you talking about? Just wanting the success, wanting the next step, the raise, the promotion, the relationship. You're just consumed with it. And it's like, if you got this right now, it would destroy you.
So let's just throw this statement out here for anybody that cares. Thank God for the kindness of his closed doors. We are always at, God, open up a door that no man can shut. Right? We boldly proclaim that in our prayers, and we kind of whisper, shut doors that no man can open. Like
Yeah.
Because we really don't want it, right?
No.
But he is being kind when he keeps the door closed. Especially if he knows you have a heart after him, he's like, I'm gonna keep that door closed because you don't even know you're dumb right now.
Yep. Right.
You'll know in 90 days.
That's right.
And you'll repent and cry, and then you're gonna thank me for not opening that door. But right now, you don't know you're dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I'm gonna keep it closed because I know that 18 months from now, I'll never forget this story. I'll give you the nutshell of it. I had a youth pastor that was my mentor. He took a youth group from 80 people to 2,000 people in 4 years. Wow. And then wanted me to be his successor. He comes to me a year before he transitioned. He goes, hey, I've already talked to the lead pastor about you. He's ready for you. And you're the guy for this job. And I respectfully declined. And he's like, why?
People would be dying for this.
He was like, what do you, bro, what are you even thinking about?
Yeah.
Like, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm humbled by the recommendation. And by your faith in me, I said, I have to say no for two reasons. Number one, my marriage is not ready for us to step into this. I said, number two, my character.
Wow.
It's not ready for me to step into this. I said, I'm in therapy and counseling right now for some of the trauma from my past, porn addiction, that kind of stuff. I'm solidifying my young marriage, 36 months at the time.
Yeah.
Around there.
Wow.
That I'm trying to facilitate. I said, that's number one. Number two, I I will not embarrass you for choosing me
Yeah.
right now.
Wow.
And I said, here's how honest I want to be with you. I would love to tell you that if a 18, 19-year-old that just graduated from high school or freshman in college and runs track and is super attractive,
And runs track.
I have a type.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I would love to tell you that I'm strong enough.
Yeah.
But right now, there's no way.
Yeah.
You put me in an environment where I'm leading
Mm-hmm.
and this is who's looking up to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm a danger to myself and others. And so I can't. Now, I thought the response would be like, you are noble. You are, wow.
Yeah.
You are God's man. Maybe just not now.
The maturity.
The
wisdom.
maturity. Bro, it was like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that? Like, bro, you'll be fine. Like, if I'm telling you I won't be
I'm
fine.
telling you.
You
Yeah.
can't tell me I will.
Right.
Like, I know me better
Yeah,
than you.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't take it, obviously. And the person that was chosen after me, I was married, young married, but he was single. This guy accepts it. Within 6 months has to rescind because he gets an intern pregnant.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And the only thing I'm thinking to myself is, I'm not like,
No.
I'm literally thinking, that was about to be me.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about the leader.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That is unbelievable. And yet leaders put people in this position all the time.
All the time. So what happens? 4 years go by. And then the position of a young adult pastor is presented to me. I've slayed some demons.
Mm-hmm.
And Juliet and I are strong, and my character's strong.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of those kids that were youth are now young adults.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
I got it anyway.
Right. That's it.
It was delayed gratification. A lot of times we think if the door is closed, this is our one and only opportunity to go through it.
Yep. Because we have a scarcity mentality.
We got that FOMO.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to miss something. This is a big break.
Mm-hmm.
I could be on this platform with this person. I could go on tour with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord's like, in 5 years,
Right.
you'll be writing songs with that person and going on tour with him anyway.
Yes.
But at least you'll be better
Right.
as a person 5 years from now.
Yes.
You don't want it today.
Right. I think that piece, though, just in going into this kind of leadership season of my life, it's difficult to lead people who are so eager but not ready, because they feel like you're doing them a disservice and all you're trying to do is love them, to give them success that actually lasts.
Yes.
That their soul flourishes. So, yeah, it's tricky, and yeah, I wish that there would have been someone who pressed pause for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or that I would have had the awareness you had to where my wife wouldn't have to be the one pressing pause.
Yep. Absolutely correct. Yeah, for sure.
Bro.
Yeah.
If you're in a leadership position out there, help a young buck out.
Yes.
Like, don't set him up.
No. To
like
fail.
that.
No, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. Don't do that to her.
Let him experience the pain now.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody even cares.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
And save so much heartache.
Yeah. Yeah.
down the road.
You know, it's twofold, right? We need the leader to lead, like to really lovingly lead and be like, no, you're not doing it.
Right.
You're gifted to do it. Your character's not there to do it.
Right.
And then we need that young, emerging, gifted person who's full of charisma and full of want and desire and thirst and all of it, right? To not think everybody's trying to hate on your gift
Yes.
and stop your ministry. You 22, hush.
Or 32.
You're 32, hush.
You have so much time.
He trying to block my blessing. He's just intimidated of my anointing. Ain't nobody intimidated of you.
We don't know you.
No one knows you.
We don't know you.
You have 1,100 followers on YouTube. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And 38 people said you're the best singer of this generation. They were born 14 years ago.
Yeah.
The heck do they know?
You related to half of them. Relax.
Calm down. It's how people get embarrassed on American Idol in the first 2 weeks.
Yes.
My auntie told me I was the best.
Yeah.
And then Simon Cowell has to say, go get a job.
Don't do that.
Because I'm never signing you, right? Bro, I think we've microwaved so much of giftings and talents that should have been seasoned over a decade.
I give my youth pastor a lot of credit, and I've spoken about him openly all the time because he was so amazing. He taught me how to do everything
Awesome.
in ministry.
Yep.
He told me a couple of years ago, I'm so grateful for how it is that you've turned out, because for so long I felt guilty that I had raised good leaders and not good Christians. I think it's something in the leader that wants something for someone. I don't think it's a bad intent.
Yep.
You see it.
Yep.
And you want to create space for the output of that gifting.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's any ill will.
Not at all.
But if you don't teach them how to follow Jesus and to crucify this, everything that you love about them is going to go away.
The good and the bad. The good and the bad. There was a guy, I won't name him. I want to make sure I get this like generic. Anybody that knows it, they're gonna know, but I just want to be generic anyway. So anyway, I meet with this guy, and I had just started my young adult ministry, and he had a singles ministry, and I mean, singles ministry was cooking, and I met him for lunch once, and just I'm going to say it because this is just the stuff I look at. I know somebody would probably be like, oh, you judged them and this, that, and the other. But for the risk of all of that, I'm just going to walk you through my process. When I see the way he's dressed and I see the car he drives, and he's a peer, the first thought I have is he's outside of his home too much. Now, I could have been wrong, except I wasn't. And I'm not saying I haven't been wrong before.
Yeah.
On this one, I was not.
Yeah.
Based on the way he was dressed and based on the car he drives, I thought to myself, he's not home. Because I know the church ain't paying you this.
Yeah.
So you're supplementing this on the road.
Yeah. Right.
And I've always had a philosophy that whatever job I work at in ministry has to cover my household expenses. That way, whatever I make on the road is additional and can be used to give and can be used to help people and maybe treat ourselves to something. But it can't also be helping my mortgage.
Yeah.
Now I'm living outside my means.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking at the way he's dressed. I'm looking at what he's driving. I'm like, something's off. And I don't know what it is. It's only one lunch, but something's off. The end of that same calendar year, I get a phone call from a different country. can you come on 2 weeks' notice? Can you come speak at this event? And I'm like, that's in 2 weeks. Like, not going to be able to be in another country in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, this person was supposed to speak that I had lunch with, but they had a family emergency. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to do it. Come to find out, several weeks later, he had slept with like 5 people in the singles ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time one of my mentees saw him, he was folding clothes at Dillard's.
Jesus.
I don't want to have a highlight reel
Right.
by the time I'm 40
Uh-huh. Right.
of the places I used to go and the things I used to do,
Correct.
but my character has so destroyed
Yes.
my name that I'll never do it again.
Right.
It's not that God doesn't restore you as a person and
Totally.
blah, 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 blah. He always
Yes.
has a plan, and he's a God of miracles. But this, on a surface level, this is a one and done sport.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
Ministry and politics are the only 2 callings, professions, career path, whatever you want to categorize it as. Ministry and politics are the only 2 things in the whole spectrum of jobs where you are synonymous with morality.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You ever heard of a doctor who lost his physician's,
Practice? Yeah.
lost his practice because he was at the strip club
No.
taking shots, shaky hand, bourbon to even him out and go do a brain surgery and still, right? Airline pilots but politicians and preachers were the only 2 that are synonymous with morality. Now, if that's unhealthy, then we're all wild and secret lives and all that kind of stuff. But when you soberly understand the responsibility, you realize in order for me to be successful, I have to go slow and stay low.
Yes, sir.
Those are the only 2 ways to success. I must go slow and I must stay low.
Selah.
Well, you gave us another good transition, Toren. You're really good at these transitions. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We had this beautiful transition into ministry, like the artistry and stuff. And now we have this beautiful transition into leadership. And it's something that you are transitioning into.
Yeah.
I want to say before you kind of elaborate for all of us what you feel God has called you to this next season. I've been on the earth almost 50 years. So I've just had the opportunity to see a lot, right? 48 years as a human being on earth and close to 20 years as a believer. So I have watched many artists and worship leaders transition into planting churches. And most of them do it because they had a good run and then they're not selling or traveling or performing like they used to. And so they plant a church. But the planting of the church is kind of like their residency. It's like their Vegas residency, right? It's like, hey, not touring anymore.
Yeah.
But I got a 10-year deal in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I'm performing 4 nights a week, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that. And I was telling Jordan, your friend, that I have watched God now raise up a group of young men and young women that I'm like, this is not that. Because they could still be out there killing it. This is a call. And so here's what before you say anything, because we haven't talked about this at all. here's my sense, because I have my gifting is apostolic, right? So I just see stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My sense is that God has used you and a few others that I know of. I'm sure it's more, but just with my own eyes and who I know individually, God is using you and a few others who, in one season, he used you to unlock their hearts through worship. So God allowed you to lead them.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a different season, he comes back to you and goes, now feed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You led them in worship. Now feed them
Mm-hmm.
with my word.
Yeah.
And they already trust you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've already unlocked their heart. But now they're going to get another side of you that they didn't even know they needed.
Right.
They thought they needed your song,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know they need your sermon.
Yeah.
That's what I sense.
I'd like to do the residency thing. That sounds good to me. What? You mean I gotta get on that bus again? They ain't gonna come through.
That is not
that residency.
That
dog.
is not what I expected. That is
What?
not what I expected. That was hilarious.
What I fell in love with at 16
Mm-hmm.
was not music. It was ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to went to a big public high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I went from private school to public school in 8th grade. And downtown Battle Creek, thousands of kids, awesome, great experience. I would walk to the church after school on Wednesdays to set up the youth room for youth service. Then I would lead worship. I would invite my friends from high school to our church basement.
I want to scream so loud right now. What?
And I got to be a part of creating a space for people to experience God. That's all I care about doing. I'm so grateful. I don't ever want to, I feel like I'm in danger of this sometimes because people would almost literally kill to be in my position, to travel and make music and do all these wonderful things that God has blessed me to do. And I'm so grateful. If I didn't do music, I'd die.
Yep, understood.
But what I feel called to do to create space for people to experience God far surpasses a set list.
Yep.
Or an arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even about preaching on Sunday for me.
Yep.
My youth pastor at lunch in my junior and senior year of high school, I would go to his classroom because he worked at my high school on my lunch hour, and we would go through John Maxwell books. And I fell in love with leadership.
Yeah.
And serving people.
Yep.
Developing the leader within you, developing the leader around you, the leaders around you.
Yeah, it's good.
I fell in love with that.
Yeah.
So planting the church, that's been in my heart since I was 20 years old and read Launch by Nelson Searcy.
Wow.
Which is a book about planting a church in a school cafeteria.
Wow.
And it's just been stirring in my heart all these years. And it just feels like the next natural phase of impact.
Yeah.
So we've done 8 gatherings at this point. I haven't sang a note.
It's not what's needed for you
my
in this
art
season.
coaches and stuff, they'll be like, hey, is there singing at this? I'm like, no, we're going to do the Cupid shuffle. but Oh yeah. But I'm like, no, this is not a fan club.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
We want people to be transformed by the power of the preached word,
It's good.
community,
Yes.
worship experiences.
Yep.
Like I got to experience that rearrange everything inside of you.
Yep.
So, no, things are going well as an artist.
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy,
Yep.
actually.
Yep.
And people will call my friends to, what is he thinking? What is he doing? And their response is what you said. He just must be called to it.
Has to be. Absolutely correct.
And that's what I feel. Even in the moments when I don't want to do it.
Absolutely correct. Because there are those moments.
I've been through this whole thing. You had old boy on the podcast. I was like, that is me. Remember he was saying, in your younger years of ministry, it's I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I'm ready. Put me in, I'm ready, I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the indicator that you're absolutely not ready.
Facts.
And then when it finally came around to this being a reality 2 years ago, I'm asking pastors, bro, I need you to really do not stroke my ego. Do you see this in me?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
I know the holy grail for church culture is being a swagged out pastor.
Mm.
I know the other side of it.
Yes, sir.
I watched my father-in-law be a pastor.
Yeah.
It's mostly pain.
Yeah.
There's some beauty in it.
Yep. And.
It's mostly pain.
Yep.
I got to the point where I'm like, are you sure, Lord?
Right.
I had one pastor say, if you can do anything else but pastor.
Oh, absolutely correct. Oh, absolutely. I agree with
said,
that.
What do you mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I can do other stuff. He's like, that's not what I mean.
Yep.
I said, well, if you mean, can I sleep at night and can I live with myself for the rest of my life if I don't do this? No.
Absolutely. That's the only reason why you should pastor ever.
Yeah.
Because that means God's call is there, which means his grace is there. Now, talking as a lead pastor who did it for 7 years and December 31st of 22 was my last day. When I woke up January 1st, when I tell you that grace was off of me,
Mm-hmm.
you know the first thought I had to myself? I had two thoughts. The first one was, I cannot believe I did 7 years of that. When the grace came off of me and I thought about what God used me to do, I thought, I just did that?
Mm-hmm.
That was number one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's number two. Don't ever ask me to do that again.
Encouraging, Tim. Encouraging.
No. And here's what I mean. Here's what I mean.
And I mean, go follow Jesus.
What I mean is, if the grace isn't on you to do it,
That's right.
you are volunteering to square up
Mm-hmm.
with a principality and a demonic stronghold over a city
Yeah.
without a mouthpiece in your mouth.
Yep.
And I'm not getting in the ring to squab against Tyson Fury
Right.
without a mouthpiece in my mouth and gloves on.
Right.
If you don't have the grace on you, you are fighting Tyson Fury. He has 2 brass knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
You have no mouthpiece.
Yep.
And you have weights in your gloves that you can't even lift to swing. You don't want to do this without the call of God on your life. Point blank, period. That's all that means. It's not to terrify.
Right.
It's not to scare. People should just not be going, you know what? We vacationed in Destin, Florida.
Yeah.
And we just thought, you know what? There's a lot of growth happening there. My wife loved it there. We're gonna plant a church there.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your butt kicked.
Yeah. 100%.
In beautiful Destin.
Yeah.
You're about to get boxed in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
What's vacation for most people will be torture for you.
That's exactly right. So, for example, where are you planting this church?
Austin, Texas.
Where in Austin, Texas?
North Austin. So Williamson County, which is like Cedar Park is where we'll be gathering.
Okay.
But we'll be serving Cedar Park, Leander, Liberty Hill, Round Rock, Georgetown, and the surrounding areas.
So can we, ladies and gentlemen, already start praying
Yes.
for this movement, for this work. What's the name of the church?
Church of White Stone.
Church of White Stone.
I got to tell you about White Stone.
You got to tell me about White Stone.
White Stone is
Because I'm about to
crazy.
make up an Excalibur.
Bro.
There's a sword in the White Stone and only you can pull it out. So please give me context to this White Stone.
So, been in my heart since 20 years old.
Yep.
2015. So I went to Bible college and all of that. There's a whole thing. That's where I started my band.
Yep.
All that. Went through this whole thing about speaking, the enemy trying to steal, just steal a dream, steal a gift. Work through all of that. Get to 2015. I went to my father-in-law's church as a youth intern. Eventually was the experienced pastor. So I oversaw everything from the parking lot to the prayer time.
Nice.
And this is while I was touring.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned from Mark Hall of Casting Crowns, who's a youth pastor at his church in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
His entire Casting Crowns career. Casting Crowns, I know some of y'all may not know Casting Crowns. Some of y'all sleep on Casting Crowns.
I know about Casting.
Okay, Casting Crowns is one of the biggest. You can compare their sales to Bruno Mars. Okay, one of the biggest artists, period.
That's wild.
Crazy, okay?
Wild.
All of them on staff at a church the entire time. They did a chapel, basically, a tour church, every show day.
This is wild.
Every show day, 5 o'clock before doors, we're getting together. Mark's sharing a word. We're praying over every seat
Wow.
in an arena.
Wow.
One of the things he said was, those that are planted in the house of the Lord flourish. Goes on to say, they bear fruit in every season.
That's the book.
You want to bear fruit, you have to have roots.
Yes, sir.
Planted in the house,
That's right.
not those houses. All of my creative
Yeah, you're a pastor. bro.
worship, pastors, writers, they driving around town collecting checks from churches, and they're not planted. You know how long that fruit's gonna last? Not long.
It's you only get what's off the tree.
Right.
You don't get the tree.
What?
You only get what's off the tree. You do not get the tree.
Because to have the tree,
You gotta be.
you gotta have the roots.
You gotta have the roots.
You gotta be planted,
Absolutely.
and you have to be hidden.
That's right. People
So-
taking pictures of their fruit baskets.
Huh?
We taking pictures of fruit trees. Okay, that's my last one. I'm sorry, bro. That I felt that thing.
Bro,
Sorry, I felt
What?
that thing.
cancel the car. I'll drive back.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kind of serious. Mark said, if you're going to produce fruit in your life, you have to have roots. They orchestrate their tours to make sure that they are back at church on Sunday mornings.
Amen.
To lead worship or just attend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't miss the second
That's
part.
that part. Absolutely.
Or just attend.
yeah, they're not performers.
You know how many red eye flights I've been on to show up at church? And I love my father-in-law because he'll shout me out because he knows what it took.
That's right.
He
That's
went
right.
through all this and he's here and
He's
he wanted
still
the whole
here.
church to see.
Absolutely. What's your excuse?
Exactly.
You just went to your son's game on Saturday.
Right,
And you too
get up.
tired. Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So that put in me from the beginning, I want to be invested in the local church no matter what happens in this world.
Yep.
And there have been well-meaning people who have pushed back against that. You know the business you could do. You know we
Yeah.
could go do X, Y, Z. I am going, if it conflicts with me being on staff at my church, I can't do it.
Yep.
So that's always been in my heart. 2015, I'm on staff at my father-in-law's church, and I'm reading scripture, Revelation 2:17.
Mm-hmm.
To the one who overcomes, he will give a white stone with a name engraved on it that only they know. Go to it.
I can't help it. Ooh,
Revelation 2:17.
Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. Okay, please. I'm with you. I just needed to see it with my own
Get
eyes,
in there.
I love it. Get in there.
It also
So
talks about
funny.
manna, but I didn't want to do manna church. It just wasn't right.
Oh my goodness.
So I start writing down all these things about white stone. White stone with a name written on it that only they know. So there's a possibility
Lord have mercy.
that there is a name that we are known by in heaven that is not yet known to us. That perhaps there is a you haven't met yet. And that our identity, who we really are, is intimately held in the hand of God. And we will not fully understand the breadth and the depth of who we are until we stand in his presence in eternity.
I have never been so hyped about a name of a church.
It also means guiltless. Because when they would do trials and someone would be acquitted, so they were guilty,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
they would set a white stone at their door to let them know that the charges had been dropped. So it's the church of the guiltless. So all of the things that you were talking about earlier with identity, man, that's what this whole thing is built around. So our adage is to help people discover their God-authored identity through wholehearted relationship with Jesus. So all that stuff that we have come to believe makes us us, only gives us clues to who we really are. So as we speak to all of the past hurts, the pain, the traumas, the confusion that people hold, all of the racial implications and the cultural implications and the political implications, those are all surface level things. But you have been built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, with Jesus Christ as the cornerstone. We're evaluating surface level things.
Yeah.
We got to get down to the foundation.
Absolutely.
It's a stone.
That's right.
So fast forward 2021, we're driving through Cedar Park, Texas. Lorna and I have been praying about planting this church. When we left her father-in-law, or my father-in-law's church, her dad's church, to go to Lakewood, where we served in ministry for 5 years, I told Pastor Joel from the beginning, we feel called to plant. And his whole thing was, until that time, you have space here. So he was in on this conversation. But we were driving through Cedar Park, Texas, North Austin, and we crossed Whitestone Boulevard. And I thought about Revelation 2:17. Now, I had already written down 10 other cities.
Yep.
We had already visited Boston because we wanted to go to unchurched cities.
Yeah, for sure.
And we were like, man, Whitestone Boulevard. Well, then we drove up to Georgetown and we were with Clayton, my wife's cousin. And I was like, seeing Whitestone Dentistry and Whitestone Veterinary Clinic and Whitestone Elementary. I'm like, Clayton, what is all the Whitestone language? Like, is this like Denton
Right.
in Dallas?
Right,
like,
right,
is
right,
this Humble in Houston?
Right.
What is this area? It's like, it's not geographic at all. It's because of this quarry. At that time, you can't make this up. Okay. At that time, we were driving past the quarry, and he said, from that quarry, they dig out all the Texas limestone. Texas limestone is called Whitestone.
Get out of here.
He said Austin is built on Whitestone. Built on what? Who God says we are. Identity. What is the number one city in America known for their identity? Austin. Keep Austin weird.
The enemy has tried to erect a different identity upon the foundation that God laid.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought you there to redeem it.
Yes, sir. So we have people that have moved from all over the country and are giving their time, their money, their skills, their gifts to helping us lift this thing off the ground. And we start January 28th,
2024.
2024. Yep.
If there's anybody in Austin, Texas,
Come on.
that is a dweller, just come through. Just come through. If you've been out of church for a while, you need to come through. If you've given up on church, you need to come through. Now, I'll say this because I'm apostolic and I won't make it weird. Perhaps you've been going to a church and you're not growing anymore. You need to hear from the Lord. But you should go visit. And sometimes when you visit a place and you get in the presence of God there, sometimes he'll speak.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't speak, go right back to your church.
Yep.
I'm telling you the same thing Robert Morris told all of Gateway when he sent me to plant Embassy City. He said, many of you all love Tim, you love his preaching, and you attend Gateway Church, and maybe you're called to go to Embassy City, but maybe you won't know that unless you go over there.
Can we talk about that spirit?
Oh, yeah. We can.
What? He said what?
Yep. To 35,000 people.
You know what I'm telling people? Don't come.
Well, that's what I would tell them,
You
too.
know why?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared somebody going to pull up on me. Don't come here. Stay at your church. But what you're saying has so much validity.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes you don't even realize you're in an atmosphere that no longer serves you.
That's
not
right.
because it's bad.
No, not because it's bad. But listen, if he is the shepherd, then all of our churches are pastures.
Mm-hmm.
We are pastoring pastures.
Mm-hmm.
And after the sheep have fed in this pasture, he leadeth me
Into
another green pasture.
Yeah.
And so you may have a season at a church that's a decade. You may have a season at a church that's 20 years. You may have a season at a church that's 3.
Mm-hmm.
You may have a season at a church that's 7. You may have a season at a church that's 12. And then there's nothing else to pull out of that ground.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean something's wrong with the shepherd
Right.
or the ground.
Right.
Except you've gotten everything you could get from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, let me lead you to another one of my pastures.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
White Stone is blessing me like it ain't nobody's business. Just I love to hear a name that's come from heaven that is supported by the word.
Yeah.
That's how I got Embassy City. That's how Bishop Jace got Potter's House. That's how Robert Morris got Gateway. That's how Preston Morrison got Pillar Church. Wow. All right, the nerd in me. I want to read. I have a study Bible. I have an NLT study Bible.
Come on, get it out.
And it actually says something about Whitestone that I just think is great. So 2:17, Revelation 2:17, it says, a white stone was often given to victors at the games, and it was common for the special banquets or festivities to use a white stone for admission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a ticket.
It therefore suggests acceptance and victory. The new name probably refers to the recipient's transformed nature in Christ.
Woo.
And the fact that there's a quarry there
It's crazy.
means that there's enough for everybody.
That's right. Corey's 2,000 acres.
Good and bad alike.
That's right. Yep.
Lame, crippled, poor, blind, discontented. It don't matter. When you're near a quarry, what God is saying in the most obnoxious fashion is, I got enough to go around.
Yep.
Everybody's admitted.
Wow.
The only way you won't be accepted is to reject the rock.
That's right.
God, that thing preaches too many different ways.
Well, come preach it. We gonna make your list. We gonna make your list. You gonna see us.
Listen, if you made it in my house, you made the list.
Very good.
Oh my God. Bro, thank you for coming. Dang. Whew. Thank you, Jesus. I want to pray for your church now. God, thank you so much for my brother, your son. Thank you for this unique calling that you've given him to Austin, to this city, to these people. God, you've already gone before him. You are before him. You are behind him. You are on the sides of him. You are in him. You are working through him. And God, you only you know the impact that Church of the White Stone is going to have.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we can and you do what you will. So God, the preparation has gone forth. They've had these gatherings. There are people that feel called to help build this church and get it started. But God, you build churches.
That's right. That's right.
And how much more clearer can you be that you build your church than it to be on top of a rock quarry?
Mm-hmm.
Upon this rock and upon this quarry, you will build your church. And I thank you for the grace that you have given Toren and his wife and his kids to pastor and shepherd Austin. They may not be everybody might not, I want to say it this way, everybody may not attend Church of the White Stone, but they will be Austin's pastors. Thank you, Lord God, for the commission, for the calling, for the grace, for the protection, for the boldness that you give them to proclaim Jesus Christ and him crucified to the glory of God the Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Bro, thank you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
I love you so much. Oh, my God. You got to come back. We just got to come back and talk about, I don't know what else you like. I don't know if you like fishing or like
No.
playing poker. Whatever you like doing, we just got to come back and talk about it. But after the church comes and it's erected and it's, I know what it is to build a church from the ground up. I just got to hear how it's going.
Yes, sir.
So we'll pick it back up, bro.
You won't just hear it. You'll see it.
I'll see it. I'm coming. I got some free time, so
Come on.
I ain't got places to be all the time, so I might pull up just on the 28th just to be in the house. You know what I'm saying? So, man, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for just giving us you. It's so refreshing, man.
Thank you.
So refreshing. Okay, I'm light. I feel light as a feather. Okay, y'all. Well, that's all we got for today.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. That's been Toren Wells, and I've been Tim Ross. Okay, bye.
Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be.